It was just, I guess, general reference resources like sites and like pictures. Or, like, what do you get? Like, what do you recommend for them to use for references for of different artists or drawings and
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, let's say if I was researching a bird like this, a sketch that I'm doing, obviously I just go into Google, type in a particular bird that I'm looking for. Like for this one, I'm inspired by a bird that's called the pied hornbill. And, you can find these at a zoo. Go on locations, go out there and research. Looking at images online definitely help because it's so fast and interactive like that. But for me, I always like to be on location for certain things. I mean, wherever you guys are, anywhere you live, there are obviously museums, zoos, all those kind of places exist. Go to those places and draw. Take your own photographs, take your own reference, build up your own collection. Even if you're doing environment pieces, go out there, different kinds of locations of forests and beaches, and take your own reference shots. That way, you can use your own photographs in a way that's more tailored to what you really want to do, instead of hunting for photographs, especially small photographs that you can't really use a lot of the times to be included into your design. So for me, it's a lot of on location, walking around, exploring, going to different places, and really interacting with what's really out there. I think people need to stretch and get out there and walk around and just be observant of your surroundings.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. Our next question is from Eric. He asks, what do you think of using the iPad as a platform for sketching?
You know what? I actually just tried that today. I was really interested in that myself. I wish Wacom would put out their own little device for sketching. I'm sure they have the technology, but I don't know why they don't put anything out like that. I've tried the iPad. If it worked like the Wacom tablet, I would buy it in an instant. I mean, I would still draw on paper, definitely, but to be able to draw digitally, I mean, it would be such a huge advantage. And if it works for you, if you think it, some of the devices I've used, they're okay. They're not perfect yet. I think they'll get there eventually. But once they do, yeah, I'll transfer. I'll make that move. I'll buy it.
Awesome. Our next question is going back to Autumn. Aside from the usual catering a portfolio to a studio, is there any advice you can offer for those of us working on breaking into the industry, especially, okay, this is similar to the one we asked earlier. It's basically asking, is there anything that you could recommend for them to do that live outside of Southern California? So I think we kind of addressed it already, Autumn. But if you can, Peter, just a quick little recap, if possible.
Well, I don't know really how to answer that any different other than the fact that the whole online thing is probably the biggest advantage that you're going to have. Yeah, you're not going to be able to, you don't have close contacts and communications with people in California, but you can get access to them online. So, things like this through the workshop, you're getting interaction with professional artists and people out here right now. So, I don't know, I think this would be a good chance to be able to build contact this way, where it's just basically through websites where if you want to contact a company, literally just contact them, email them. Some people are a little hesitant of contacting companies, but they feel like, oh, they're not going to care, well, they want to listen to some amateur artists. Send your work anyways. Even if you think they're not going to listen, you got to make that first step.
Okay. I have another question from Miguel. He says, I love to draw traditionally. What role does digital make in your workflow, and how does it influence it?
Obviously, speed. It definitely speeds me up a lot faster. When you're drawing on paper, I used to do this when I was working professionally as well. I would draw on paper with markers and pens, and I still love to do that. But then you got to scan it, clean it up, and then draw over that again, paint it. So you skip a lot of steps when you're going straight digital, and I don't see it as a hindrance or anything like that. Again, the computer digital is just another tool, and that's just the way I see it. It doesn't make one person better. you still have to have the same skill sets. You have to have that foundation of being able to draw for it to transfer over and see. Um, there are a lot of people out there that are very flashy and very good with Photoshop, and they can do a lot of cool effects with it. But in the end, I mean, having really good foundational drawing skills will transfer over to your digital stuff as well. It'll make it look that much better.
Awesome. Our next question is from Ismail again. He says, many thanks for the workshop, very informative. The question is, in a studio situation, is there a quota of the pieces you have to complete by the end of the day or week? And are you generating ideas Monday through Friday in a studio situation?
Oh yeah, I mean, I work a full-time job right now, so I'm there Monday to Friday. And right now, currently, I'm designing a lot of weapons for a game that I'm working on. But it really all depends on the kind of schedule you're on, the kind of person you're dealing with. Again, every company is different with the people you're working with your art directors, your producers, and all that kind of stuff. So one place can be a little bit more relaxed, other places can be a lot more intense. And it varies quite a bit. So the place I'm doing right now, it's pretty actually intense. For instance, I can give you an example. I'm working on weapon designs, like I said. They'll give me, on average, 4 days to complete one weapon. And that's from the initial sketch to the refined design to full color, and then I'll do a three-quarter. But then also you have to consider the fact that there's back and forth, people want changes, and more than anything, speed will help a lot. You just got to be real quick when you're in the industry, because being able to draw fast will help you change your designs quickly too, because there will always be changes, and you have to be able to roll with the punches. Being able to compensate. I'm sure a lot of designers and artists out there are very stubborn-headed about their designs. They don't want to change it. But when you're first starting out as an artist, you got to be able to suck up your pride and say, okay, maybe you're right. This is gonna look better this way, and you just do it. So, yeah.
Thank you, Peter. And for everyone that's attending the live Q&A, again, you can ask questions. We have lots of slots open still. I see quite a few who are there, just are not asking any questions. So you're just probably watching Peter draw, which is still cool, but again, you can ask questions. I have a question for you, Peter. What was your main source of inspiration, to even get into concept design?
Initially, I wanted to do comic books. I wanted to draw, Marvel superheroes and all that kind of stuff, which I actually kind of do a little bit right now with a friend. But it probably changed from looking at comics and then watching movies. So film was a huge, huge influence. And of course, the video game revolution happened, so gaming was a huge part of it as well. But initially, going from high school, I wanted to be a comic book illustrator. Going to college, Art Center, I think that's where it kind of flipped, where I started to be introduced to more of what conceptual design is and what it consists of. And pretty much that's where it started for me. So.
Thank you for that, Peter. Another question we'd like to ask is, what's your favorite subject matter or genre to illustrate or draw?
A lot of people ask me that, actually. They say, what's your strongest field? What are you really good at? And for me, I've always been glad to say that there is no one particular thing that I'm strong at, because I can do everything. Again, it's that strength and versatility, being able to be confident in the fact that there is nothing out there that I can't draw, because it's all the same to me. From drawing this bird to something drawing more mechanical or sci-fi heavy, it doesn't really matter to me. So I don't have a favorite. I love to draw it all, and keeping it different like that keeps it fresh for me. Because if I'm drawing one particular thing for months on end, I'll get sick of it. So I need to be able to break out and be able to draw a lot of different things so that it keeps it fresh for me.
Okay, thank you, Peter. We have a new question from Muhammad Jafar. He says, hi, Peter. You spoke about mileage in sketching. What's your daily routine when it comes to your warm-ups and just practicing on your sketches? How long would it take you, and how long would you suggest beginners should start with?
Yeah, mileage is a huge, huge key. For me, when I initially started with Art Center, Art Center itself was like a job. I was drawing constantly, especially for this class when I first initially took it. with my own personal instructor, Norm, I